Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was created in the relationship advice subreddit in 2022 by a deleted user. The post is titled I, 28F, cheated because I thought my husband, 33M, cheated. He has left the house and has not said a single word to me. Hi, I will try to keep this as short as I can. I apologize in advance for any misspellings and bad grammar. I am not originally from an English-speaking country, I am from Europe. I have been together with my husband for over 6 years. We have been married for 4 years and have a 20-month-old son together. We met at a friend's home party and connected almost immediately. He started talking to me first. Even the first time meeting him, he was incredibly handsome, very confident, and charming. I know several of the girls, including some of my friends, wanted to talk to him when we were there, but within the first 10 minutes of arriving at the party, he came over to me. I really don't know any perfect word to describe how I felt at that moment, but if I had to pick, I felt almost chosen by him. We started dating a few days later, and the more time we spent together, the more I started to fall for him. I have always had the feeling of him being completely out of my league, but he never really made me feel unsure that he wanted to be with me. I knew beforehand he had been with plenty of women, but it didn't really bother me because he never spoke of it or mentioned it. The few times I asked him if he really wanted a relationship or if he was sure about us, he always told me he loved me and that he does not care about other women. After 2 years, we ended up getting married. We tried having a child and got a beautiful son. He always wished to have a son and a daughter, and we were planning on having another child. I have always loved my husband more than anyone can imagine, but after giving birth, I gained a bit of weight. He always told me he didn't care and that he loved me no matter what. He suggested I could start training with him. He goes to the gym at least 4-5 times a week, and that we could start this as an activity together. I always said yes, but we never ended up going together for several different reasons. He never got out of shape and regularly went to the gym without trying to invite me there. As time moved on and the baby was taking most of our time, our sex life decreased, but he always assured me that he was still attracted to me. Most of the time, he would try to initiate sex, but I would turn it down, mostly because of myself and because I was insecure about my body and myself around him. This is still a huge regret for me. He even told me we could leave the baby with our parents, his or mine, to get alone time, but for some reason I kept neglecting him. My self-esteem kept becoming worse and worse, and he was trying to cheer me up and encourage me. When we would go out somewhere, I could see other women looking at him or trying to make eye contact with him, and it would bother me. I would tell him about it and he would assure me he only loved me. One day, as he came home from work, long work hours at the hospital, he went straight to bed, telling me he was exhausted. I started looking into his phone and checking his Instagram and Messenger messages, and I could see several chats with different women, some of whom I know are his ex-girlfriends. He had been asked to go meet for coffee or if they would want to meet up somewhere just as friends, but he always turned them down. I even saw archived messages from an ex who had messaged him out of the blue and asked if he wanted to meet up for good times, which is referring to sex. He had responded with, "I have a wife," and blocked her. I really don't know why, but in my head, I started making up that he must have been cheating on me with at least one of these girls. I ended up contacting an ex-boyfriend who I hadn't talked to for years. One thing led to another, and we met up at a hotel close by. At first, I just wanted some sort of payback, but as we ended up having sex, I was filled with incredible regret. This all happened during the day while my husband was at work and had no idea and never had a suspicion. It took me 3 days, and as he came home one day and we were in front of the television, I started crying and told him everything. He just kept looking at me but didn't say a single word, went upstairs and locked the door to our bedroom. I followed him and was crying at the door, but he didn't say a single word to me. It took him a long time, but he finally came out, immediately left the house, and I haven't heard a single word from him. He didn't even say anything to me when leaving and was not even looking at me. I have tried to call him at least hundreds of times, but he still hasn't responded and I have no idea where he has gone. This all happened yesterday, and I haven't heard a word from him. I am scared to contact his or my own family because I am scared for them to find out. Please, I really don't know what to do and just want to save my marriage. I have an incredible feeling of disgust and regret, and I don't even know why I didn't trust him. I know most of this roots down in my own insecurities, but I just want my husband back. He has left me alone with our baby. How can I get in contact with him? What can I do to save my marriage? I apologize once again for the bad grammar. My native language is not English and I'm crying as I write this. I have zero pity for OP. I don't want to give her too much shit, but this is so childish. OP's husband clearly loved her and was doing everything he could to make her feel loved, all while not knowing why OP was being so neglectful. Putting it bluntly, OP is a dumbass. I hope he divorces OP. If you make a stupid choice that negatively affects someone else, then you deserve to face the consequences. It's as simple as that. User Crazy Perception 713 said, "You were too tired to have sex with your husband, but immediately went and had sex with your ex. None of your story makes sense. If I had to guess, the truth probably is that you weren't having sex with your husband because you were having sex with someone else, and he found out." User Back to Yak said, "Good on him. You broke his trust and ruined your own marriage. Your poor child will have to deal with this decision of yours for a long time. All because that your insecurities got the best of you. Good luck picking up the shattered remains of your marriage." User Glintstone Jedi said, "Two wrongs don't make a right, but one wrong probably makes for a divorce. You probably just blew up your entire life and it's probably not recoverable. Given what you said and the I got it in my head, he cheated and I wanted payback when you literally saw he did not cheat. I got nothing for you. You're probably headed for divorce and you 100% deserve it. I hope his next wife doesn't break his heart too." A deleted user said, "I'm sorry, but you overreacted and became jealous even though he rejected people's advances. You sought out sex from someone else. You betrayed him and your marriage. You don't have the right to demand he speak to you. Give him time and space. If he decides to reconcile, well, that's up to him. Infidelity is such a deep wound. Most relationships don't survive. How could they? Trust is obliterated." User Wishy Washy With You said, "So basically you were married to the perfect guy and couldn't believe it and thought it was too good to be true, so you blew it all up to prove it. Honestly, if he's as confident as you say, he's gone for good and there's no saving it. If you do your best to continue to take the blame, he will likely do the right thing and not fight you on child support, etc. You should probably be in therapy to find out why you did this. That's the best advice you're going to get. I'm not saying that it wasn't all your fault, but I'm sorry this happened to you. I'm sure it sucks, even knowing that you were in the wrong." User Web822 said, "You tried to talk about psychological problems, but that is the true nature of your personality. You didn't sleep with your husband, and in a few days, you went to the hotel with your ex. You must have been dreaming of this man for years. Anyway, the good news is that your husband is a decent man. I think he's done with you and can be with any woman he wants. You just slept with your ex. He must be waiting to hear from you. Tell him you can always be with him now and live happily together." User Sad Cry 981 said, "First and foremost, your marriage is over. Just accept that. From what you described, your husband was a loving, loyal, and respectful. You let your insecurities get to your head based on the weight you gained. P.S. him not inviting you to the gym might be a good thing because some might see that as disrespectful if he constantly invited you and created a narrative where he must be unfaithful. Unfortunately, you have ruined this marriage based on your insecurities and self-esteem." This next post was made a day ago in the relationship advice subreddit by a user named Igloo2018. The post is titled 6 months PPD, I am 27F and my fiance 26M loves me less. How to navigate emotionally as a single parent. As the title says, I'm 27F, 6 months postpartum with my beautiful son, my first and only. I've been with my fiance, 26M, for almost 6 years and I'm shattered. When I was pregnant, I started to notice my fiance withdrawing from me emotionally and physically. For my birthday, 1 week before our son was born, he got me a Starbucks gift card, $25. That was the gift. For Mother's Day, he handed me a dead bouquet of flowers he left in the garage overnight without water and a card that should have been made out to his own mother, not the mother of his child. We've had a dead bedroom since my pregnancy. I've communicated to him many times that I'd like for us to work on that. Of course, parents of newborns sometimes go through a roommate phase. I would communicate with him that I'm ready to get back to it. To no avail, he continues to lie in bed watching TikTok while I get our son down for bed, and that's that. Last night, I finally pushed for more direct communication about this feeling. Why is he no longer interested in intimacy? After he skirted around some excuses, he finally told me, I think you love me more than I love you. He explained that there are levels to love and that maybe we are just on different levels. I asked, has it always been that way? To which he replied, I guess I just love you less now. To say I'm shattered is an understatement. If we're being honest, I saw it coming. I could feel it. I've spent my pregnancy and the last 6 months being the sole provider, especially financially, for our child. I juggle our baby while working from home. I do it all while my fiance is out of town for work most of the time. He says infidelity isn't a part of this, but who knows? Our relationship was never like this before our son. Even though it's not necessarily my fault, I feel like I already failed as a mother and wonder what my son will think as he gets older. My fiance stated he's hopeful we work through this, but I said, I'm sorry, I can't just make you love me more. What's been said can't be unsaid, you know? 6 months postpartum and I'm about to be a single mom at 27. TLDR, my fiance, 26M, fell out of love with me, 27F, now that we're parents. User Blue True Dude said, I feel like I already failed as a mother. The only way you would have failed as a mother in this case is if you didn't try to address the problem with the child's father. You aren't responsible for what other people do or say. You're only responsible for what you do. Here's some questions you could ask him. How does he plan to work this out? I mean, I'm not even in your situation, and I could name a few things off the top of my head. Spending more alone time together, have somebody babysit, by going on dates, being more involved in listening to you talk about life besides mother talk, talking to a therapist, etc. If he did want to work things out, then how come he made no action/effort and remained passive until you brought it up? I mean, I can't say I want to be a professional sports player and then expect any good results while not practicing. Under this comment, OP said, hey, thanks for your reply. I do make an effort to plan a date night here and there. Thankfully, my mom gladly watches our son so we can do. But it's not really quality time. He's always on his phone, taking calls for work, and his dad, whom he works with. I think he was fine with complacency. He lives with me rent-free. I'm financially supporting our son, mostly by myself. I never expected this to be the dynamic. He just doesn't step up. He owns his own business but puts all the money back into it, always complains about being broke, etc. He's basically getting a free ride, so I imagine he wouldn't want to bring it up. User MuckDuck30 said, he is not a good person. You are a good mother. You have your own income and you're not married, so no financial obligation to this man. Kick him out and you will notice that your life won't get harder because he already contributes nothing. You can get child support though if he's on the birth certificate, but no alimony since you're not married. Are you sure he wasn't cheating while out of town? Either way, I hope you're safe and can cut ties. He is not a dad and he is not reliable. User Real Fucking Original said, I hope you can at least understand that he's the one who failed. It's ingrained in us as women to take on all the burden of holding our relationships together and supporting our men no matter what. But the truth is that relationships only work if both people put in the effort, and he has failed to do that on so many levels. Unfortunately, there seems to be an epidemic of men who impregnate women, even intentionally, without truly having any idea what the implications of parenthood are, without being ready or willing to toil the entire day to keep everything functioning. Without being willing or even aware, they'll have to prioritize another being over themselves. Men are often not raised to take any responsibility for their own lives, and that leaves them woefully underprepared to even conceptualize what parenthood really means, much less step up to that plate. I'm sorry, the man you love seems to be one of those who are rejecting you as well as the lifestyle the new little one brings. Please know that whatever excuses he throws at you, baby weight or another surface level barb, his own inadequacy is what's driving his behavior. That's pretty clear from the TikTok scrolling. That's not what present adults who have young children do. You did nothing to trigger this, and there was likely nothing you could have done to prevent this. And you are not a failure as a mother. Success as a mother will mean teaching your child to be and seek better than what you've experienced. And 27 is young. You've got your whole life ahead of you. And the best part, when you're ready, you'll have more tools to help you find a man who fully shows up for you and your family. Bandy909 said, "Men are so stupid. They think with their little brain. I am so proud to be a father, but I expect that having a child won't change their life at all. I went through this with my ex after a 12-year marriage. He came to me 5 months after the baby was born and told me he didn't love me and wanted a divorce. It was very traumatic. My family was supportive and I moved out. Ultimately, I was the one who filed for a divorce and I got full legal and physical custody of our child because he didn't want anything to do with us. My life got a lot better. I married a good man who was a wonderful husband and father. My ex came crawling back saying he made a mistake. Karma is sweet. Contact friends and family. Get some support. See a lawyer. Get custody and child support set up. Please know he will regret this until the day he dies, once he wakes up to the fact that he is a soulless a-hole and abandoned his child for no real reason." User Sealight3279 said, "You'll find that once he's gone, it'll actually be easier. No more wondering if he's finally going to do something or give you attention or connect with the baby. And once you're no longer wondering about if he'll do things, you'll no longer be anxious about it. It'll be one less person to take after, less laundry, less food to make, less messy, etc. You're a very strong woman, and losing this financially inept project of a man would probably be in your best interest and in your son's. At least now he's a baby. You don't want him to be a young child and asking, 'Mom, where's Dad? Why doesn't Dad spend time with me?' It's actually really heartbreaking. The worst is when they just expect it already. I hope you free yourself of him soon and get some therapy for yourself to work out your feelings." A big hug from one mama to another. Shortly later, OP provided an update. First, I want to thank everyone who commented on my original post. I mostly posted to vent, and I'm really glad I did. Now for the update, I decided to rip the band-aid off and end things. Engagement is ended. Relationship is ended. All of it. After dinner, our son was taking a nap, and I asked my fiance, 26M, when he planned on moving out. Long story short, I had him pack a bag and stay elsewhere tonight. He will start packing his belongings tomorrow. I realized that I can't do this. I can't forgive being told he loves me less. That's not the example or standard I want to set for my child as he grows. Love isn't something you need to beg for, work for, or pretend. To make it worse, I asked my fiance if he felt this way when he got engaged last August, to which he said, "Yes, I've just been lying to myself." This man had a baby with me and knew, possibly beforehand, that his heart wasn't in it but didn't have the guts to tell me. So here we are, 6 years down the drain. I'm not sure if the reality of a child hit him, if infidelity is involved on his part, or if he lost attraction to me in the process of being pregnant. Could be all of the above, but I'll never know, and that's okay. I'm the primary provider for our son, and that won't change. Our son, who is 6 months old, will remain living with me full time, and my fiance is welcome to visit him. We will work out an agreement to ensure he fulfills his financial obligation to our child, and I'm not afraid to pursue the legal route if needed. I'm 6 months postpartum. This is my first. And wow, it's been hard, but now I'm officially doing it solo and with the help of my mom. I'm doing the damn thing, and I'm gonna do my best. Wish me luck. Thank you everyone for the words of encouragement. User Lost in Metaphor said, "You are amazing. Go the legal route. Your sperm donor is an asshole and will abuse the agreement, be late, if not skip months, and you'll have to deal with it every time. Like you said, he literally made a whole baby with you rather than be alone. Report him to the state. This man is never gonna fight for 50-50 custody, and if he decides to do that 10 years from now because his balls finally dropped, he would have cheated you out of so much child support, meaning both financial and child care. Get his paycheck garnished for the correct amount your child is entitled to. Put it all in a college fund if you want, but get what your child needs with as little contact with this guy as possible. If it's a personal agreement you have to keep hounding him about, he's also going to try to work back into your life. He's going to date a lot of people and learn he likes the unbalanced love of being in his favor, and he is going to try to hook up with you every 2 years. Watch. User Gintress said, "You've done the right thing. I was 17 years, 15 years married, and 4 kids into my relationship when my husband admitted that he never wanted to get married, even though he proposed, and didn't want as many kids as we had, despite it taking 18 months of trying to get our 4th. Some people just go along with whatever is easiest. Because I loved him, he just went along with whatever I wanted because it was easier than actually making any decisions. So he wasted 17 years of my life because it was easier for him than actually making any decisions himself. Now I'm 39 and have to start my search for my person again. He already has a person, which is what finally made him admit that I wasn't it. User O Gnome said, "You absolutely are doing the right thing. I grew up knowing instinctively that my dad was just going through the motions out of obligation. He'd either be indifferent or snapping at my mom and me, so I spent my life navigating around him anxiously. I married someone who also ended up withdrawing from me. I spent years trying to fix something that could never be fixed. Now I'm with someone who adores me and vice versa, and I could never ever go back to walking on eggshells again. Relationships are hard enough when both people are giving it their all. It is far better to be in no relationship than to be alone within a relationship. I'm proud of you for not trying to figure out what's going on in his head because it's an absolute waste of energy. I wasted so much time asking, begging, investigating. It's honestly embarrassing to think about. Better to let go and focus on yourself and your little one. Best of luck to you." ETA, I found my current partner in my 30s and we're coming up on 10 years together. You have plenty of life left to make new memories.